Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and happy Valentine's Day. Today we are going to be doing a Valentine's Day look. So we are just going to be creating this look I have on my eyes right now. Fairly simple, pretty easy to follow along with. So if you are interested in kind of seeing how I created this and how I typically do my eyeshadow, feel free to keep on watching and we will jump right on in. All right, so obviously I have my full face on. We are just gonna do eyeshadow. So typically I do my eyeshadow before my foundation and everything else, but I thought for the sake of this video, it would be easier if I did it in reverse. So we are going to start with this Just Peachy Mattes. I like to start with just a neutral transition shade, so this one has a really nice color right here. I am going to just take a fluffy blending brush, pat off that excess, and we're really just gonna blend that into the crease. Just like this. I'm not really bringing that down onto the lid. I'm really just keeping that kind of higher, but not all the way up to the brow bone. Blending in. I've never used this brush before, and not sure how I feel about it so far. I should tell you, oh, it's a crown brush. So we are just blending here. Perfect. Now we're gonna go ahead and do the other eye. Right, so next I am going to grab my Bad Habit Aphrodite palette. Looks like this, and I am going to dip into this pink shade up here. I'm going to use a different brush. We're going to grab just a flatter, just Wet n Wild brush to kind of just deposit the color there. This one I'm going to keep a little bit lower than the transition shade, still not really going onto the lid, so just right in the crease there. Kind of just building that up. Perfect. Then I'm going to take the brush we just used for the transition shade, and I'm going to run that over right where those two meet to get that really nice and blended. Perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other eye. So I should add that I go in at the end and I kind of clean up my lines. So I'm not too particular about where I'm kind of stopping. My shadow, I like to have like a really clean line. So we will do that when we get there. Next, I'm gonna dip into the Huda Desert Dusk palette. I think we are going to take, yeah, we're gonna do this, no, we're gonna go with this red shade right here. So we are going to take a different brush. So this one is just more of an angled brush. And we are gonna kind of just keep this more in the outer corner, even lower than the pink shade. And then this one I will drag down just a little bit onto the corner of the lid, not all the way over. And then as there's less product on my brush, I am moving over further just to kind of blend it all together. I'm going to take a little bit more because I really want to deepen that crease there. Perfect. Bring that down. All right, then I'm going to take the brush I just used with the pink and kind of just blend in the center here to make sure everything is nice and smooth. You don't want any harsh lines. You see how you can't really see where anything starts or ends? And that's kind of what you want. Perfect. So that eye is done with that color. Let's go ahead and do the other eye. right, now this is the fun part. So we are gonna do just some glitter on the lid. So I am going to take this shade in the Desert Dusk palette. It's called Cosmo. If you look at it, it's really just kind of a loose, chunky glitter. So it obviously only works when you use like a glitter glue. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get some glue on my lid here. I have just been using lash glue. And it's been working fairly well for me. So we are gonna go ahead and get that on. Then we just dipped into the shade Cosmo and we are going to pat that onto the lid. I'm really wishing I would have done my eyes before the rest of my face, because sometimes glitter like this can be kind of more on the messy side. So far so good though. So we're just patting that in. We're not really rubbing at all. We just want that to stick to that glue we just laid down. All the way into the center here. Now I did use the same brush I just used to put the glue down. For me, that's kind of been working best, just because that way I feel like the glitter sticks to the brush a little better. So we are just going to build that up until there is no transparency to the lid. Perfect. Almost. Right in here. It's kind of the hardest little spot to get. Awesome. So you can see that's just nice and sparkly. All right, we are gonna go ahead and do the other eye just like that. All right, so now that we have that glitter shade applied all over both lids, kind of to the same point there, I am going to take the Desert Dusk Huda palette and just take this darker brown shade here, and I'm kind of just going to deepen up the outer corner a little bit more. The red isn't popping as much as I wanted it to. So I'm going to take this and just really kind of pat that in over there. It'll also help to just make sure that that all kind of blends together. See how that's just kind of deepening? And then I'm going to take the tiniest bit and just go barely up here. And I am just going to wipe this brush down to grab all the excess glitter that's kind of moving up on me. And then we are going to grab this brush and just blend that all together. Perfect. So that side is looking good, and then I am going to do the same thing on the other side. Right, now I am going to go in and take my concealer and kind of clean up my ends here with the eyeshadow. I'm not sure how this is going to work because typically I do this before I have the rest of my face on, so I'm not sure how it's going to go over the powder, but I just kind of angle out from my lower lash line and make a line there. And then I'm going to take my beauty sponge here and I'm taking the edge and just really sharpening that. Perfect. And then I'm going to blend it out a little bit with my finger. Okay, it's blending better than I thought it would for having a bunch of other makeup on. So that's good. And you see how that just really cleans up the shape. Like I said, not everyone likes that defined, but that's just kind of a personal preference thing. It just looks a lot neater and you just have a better shape, especially when we smoke out the lower lash line. It's going to connect really nicely. So let's go ahead and do the other side. Right, so now that that is all cleaned up, I am going to go into, actually we're going to start with the Aphrodite palette. We are going to grab this pink shade called Flirt and this little pointed brush, and we are going to just apply this to the lower lash line here. Just nice and tight there. Kind of connecting in the corner to the top. Perfect, let's go ahead and do the other eye. Now I am going to grab that darker brown shade we used from the Desert Dusk palette, and I'm going to put that on both lower lash lines, only about halfway in. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so now that that is all set, we are going to go ahead and just highlight the brow bone, do an inner corner highlight. For this, I'm going to dip into the Masquerade palette by Juvias Place. We are just going to take this light shade here. I am going to spray my brush with a little bit of my rose water just to give it a little more of a shimmer. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, now that everything with the eyes is all set, I am going to go ahead, get some mascara on, pop on some lashes, and I will be back to take a peek at the final look. Alright, so lashes are on, lips are on. I just threw on some, let's see, I used the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, and then my lashes are the Ardell Wispies, just these guys. So they're my favorite. They're kind of nice and just natural looking, more natural than some that I have. And then for lips, I did the Milani, this is called Almost Natural, and it's just a gloss. And then I dabbed just a tiny bit of my cheek highlight onto my lips just to give it a little more of a glow. But yeah, that is my Valentine's Day look. Fairly simple. I mean, if I dipped into a couple different palettes, but if you can find these colors in similar palettes that you own, it's pretty easy to recreate. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope that everybody has a wonderful Valentine's Day, and I will see you guys back at my next video. Thank you.